All right, guys, we are live, episode 145 of the Shooter's Mindset. Thank you guys for joining us tonight here. Co-host today, Nikki Clevenger is in the house. What's going on, Nikki?
Hey guys.
Pretty good. Jennifer Seymour is in the house. Jennifer, what's up?
Hello, everyone.
And the Three Gun Nation director for the Club Series and Regional Series, Charles Soule's in the house. What's going on, Charles?
How are you doing? Thanks for having me.
It's good to have you on. It's been a while. I think we tried to get you on the show like a few times before. Schedules kind of, came into play. But we finally got you on. Looking forward to talking with you. We got a lot to talk about Three Gun Nation stuff. We got some new targets. Got some rules maybe. Some people want to clarify. I don't know, but we'll talk about them all live to the show. A good way to do that if you have a question is head over to Shooter's Mindset on Facebook. It's going to be the post, our most recent post, or it's probably pinned to the top. Just post in the comment section, and we'll grab those throughout the show. Also, if you're watching on the YouTube side of things, if you open the show up on YouTube, there's a Q&A in the top right-hand corner. You can click that and get your questions in there. And that'll do it. Show sponsors here. We got Tactical Shit, shop.tacticalshit.com for all your tactical shit needs. They got, like I say at every show, but they got pretty much everything over there. Accessories, clothing, survival stuff, first aid kits, the whole nine. So next time you're shopping around, consider them for your purchase. Also, we got S3F Solutions barrels. S3F Solutions, they do match grade Glock drop-in Glock barrels, and they're fantastic. They got gold titanium nitride coating, black nitride coating, and they got your traditional stainless ported for pretty much almost all the models of Glock right now. So go check them out. And Techwear USA for a fine competition jersey. The Techwell system for the single stack 1911 guys. They have a really, really stellar magwell and grip system for the single stack guys. And they also have a charging handle called the Tac Latch. So check out Techwear USA. Went over the Q&A stuff. If you enjoy watching the show from the convenience of your cell phone, check out the Shooter's Mindset app. We have it available for iPhones and Android devices. And Charles will be featured on that app as soon as we shut this live feed down. And obviously the shootersmindset.com. If you're watching on the shootersmindset.com, we appreciate you stopping by. We also have a shop, so check out. We got some Dewey rod kits. Got a bunch of stuff. I'm always adding to the shop. Actually, seems like every week now. And blogs, some great articles going up for some stellar reading material that Jessica Nitzel, Jared Nelson's part of that crew, and Regina. So she's the long-range kind of pro shooter deal. All right, so check those out. But let's kick this one off here, Charles. For those who are unfamiliar with you, tell us a little bit more about yourself and what do you do for Three Gun Nation?
Okay, thanks for having me. I'm the director of the regional and club series for Three Gun Nation, and there's a couple other hats. It's there's basically four of us, full time, so to speak. Or five of us full time, so to speak. So sometimes we wear different hats, but my primary goal is the regional matches during that season, and then the club series, managing the clubs, contacting the clubs, working with the club directors, are the two biggest things on my plate.
And what did you do like before this whole thing? Like, tell us a little bit more about yourself. I know some, but I don't know a lot. So what did you do kind of before this all started?
Well, my former career, I was in law enforcement for over 20 years in the Raleigh-Durham area. So I enjoyed that career. It was great. Met a lot of great people. It's kind of what got me to where I am right now, per se. I did shoot competitively. More or less because it translated over to work, and it was a good enhancement of those skills. And a lot of guys at work were shooting pistol only matches, so that kind of got me into it. And then in this area of central North Carolina, there were a couple of really strong pistol only USPSA and IDPA matches. But the three gun matches, it was just really kind of hard to find a home. Like today, they're popping up everywhere, but 10 years ago that just wasn't the case. And myself and a couple guys, we got together and started putting matches on, and then it kind of segued into this deal with Riga Nation. With their started off with their club series, and then just kind of going from there.
Nikki, I know you had a follow-up question for Charles up next.
Yeah. How did you get started as a match director? What made you cross over from competitor to match director? Now that's all you do. You don't. I've actually never seen you compete because you're always the match director, and you can't compete in the same match.
My passion, obviously at the beginning, was shooting. I used to love shooting 1911 in USPSA. It was just fun. It was good. But when I started doing match directing, I just found that you really couldn't run, or I couldn't run the match to the level without just being focused on it. So, my desire to make the match successful, see people enjoying it, and all that, is pretty much where I just kind of went away from shooting and concentrated on the match directing. And I think that it works. I mean, it's tough to try to shoot and concentrate. I think you may have experienced it, like when you're ROing, even in a monthly match or a local match. It's hard to kind of concentrate on both things because it takes away from it. It does. I mean, and there's so for me, it was a matter of, I said, hey, I'll be the orchestrator, and that'll be my thing, and I'll, do it the best I can. And I felt like that was the best opportunity if I were just focused on it.
Yeah, there was some talk that, how do you feel about when match directors do shoot their own match? Do you feel that it's fine to be scored at the end and walk the prize table? Where are you at with that?
Well, because I don't shoot the matches, in my opinion, I think that, or I understand where that perception could be of, that it's unfair. You're setting the stages up. I think the perception makes it look bad. And then, what I would ultimately go back to is the individual person. If they're credible and all that, I can't imagine them, taking advantage of it. But what we do in one of the things that we added this year, Mike Sexton is a range master. That was one of the deals that we wanted to make sure that didn't happen, so he doesn't compete. And the reason that is, and I'll tell you, he is a wonderful person, and he offered this or was adamant about this as far as the relationship of him being our range master, is that, he said, hey, it's always would be in the back of my mind if I'm shooting a certain class and I'm going to make a call on a person, maybe human nature, gets involved and I may not be making the right call.
Yeah.
So I respect him, and I think that, when it's all said and done, I think you need to have an administrative part of the match and a competitive part of the match, and they should be separate.
Yeah, I know, Jen, you guys shoot with Sexton a lot over at the Clayton House, and it's a good thing when he's not in there because he beats pretty much everybody anyway.
He's shooting open because he can't see nothing. I wouldn't say he's crushing everybody.
Dang, he's shooting cheater division.
He is.
It's a fun division.
That does come up. The question you made, it does come up often, and I just think from a perception issue, it makes sense where people would have a little concern.
Mike Sexton is so fair, though, that I could totally see him saying something like that. When Mike does shoot the monthly matches at Upstate, it's because there was somebody else, whether it was Buddy Brown or Heath has designed a stage or two. It's because Mike took himself out of the equation of range master and let somebody else take the reins so he could shoot, and there would be no questions as to whether he was, where his focus was on that. So I know some people may have seen Mike shoot last month out at Upstate, but he was not match director for that particular match. So he's really good at separating himself when the time comes to
Well,
shoot.
you guys are competitors. I mean, what's y'all's feeling? I'm just curious. I mean, as a match director.
I think if you're going to shoot the match, if you're going to shoot it, you should take yourself out of the prize table.
I agree.
Or
I think if you want to shoot it for fun, shoot it for fun. But I mean, you did design the stages, and in a sense, when you designed the stages, you had a stage plan in mind on the best way to shoot it. Now, I'm not saying it was the best for everybody, because somebody's going to go in there and see something you didn't and completely kill your stage that you created. But I mean, if it's a monthly match, you're not winning anything. You might as well shoot it. I can see where you'd want to be fair and where your focus needs to be on larger matches like regionals or major matches. I don't see how you could possibly focus on being the match director or range master and shooting the match. I don't know. I guess I'm not mentally strong enough to separate the two. I can hardly RO and shoot a match, let alone have more responsibility than that.
Well, it's an advantage to have built the stages. Everybody's going to build somewhat to their strengths anyway. I mean, if you are really, really bad at something, you're probably not going to put it in a stage, and not intentionally necessarily. It's just probably not going to be what you put in there. And having, firsthand knowledge of the stages way ahead of time, it's easier to remember the stage plan. It kind of takes that piece out of it. Monthlies, I don't care. I don't even really care on the big ones. I don't do this for the prize table. I do it because it's fun. But there's a lot of these guys that do it for the prize table, and are really, really good. So, if you're at the top competitive level and you're going to be up there knocking somebody out of a space, then yeah, I don't think you should be in the prize table.
Indeed.
I say the less drama, the better. So just don't create a situation where drama could be created. And there you go.
Yeah, I mean, I think again, the perception or the, a conflict, I mean, it makes sense. You won't see it happening with me. Just because, for other reasons. But no, I really, my enjoyment comes seeing the competitors have a good time and enjoy a good match, and the camaraderie and all that. So that's kind of my payday. And of
we
course,
we have enough drama in 3-gun without opening a door for something that maybe wasn't even drama, but someone made it into it.
Yeah. I mean, that's, with us, Rob Romero is with the director of the Pro Series, and he gave up opportunities to win big money, which says a lot. Just put that aside to put that whole piece together, and he doesn't shoot those matches.
And like I had mentioned, if you have the mental capacity to do it, where you could take yourself out of that mode and go from shooter versus range match director or range master, and you can separate those two things, then I don't see an issue with it. And like you had mentioned, Charles, if you have good integrity, you have good intentions, and everybody can see that you're not in any way trying to cheat yourself into getting, a better time or anything like that, I don't see an issue with it. But like I said, I took this whole 2016 off of ROing. I have not RO'd a single match. I just took myself out of it because I could see where my mental game was struggling with my shooting when I was too focused on everybody else and making sure everybody else was safe and everybody else's times were accurate and everybody else's scores were accurate. And when you start worrying about everybody else, it's hard to focus on yourself. So I would see it being more of a disadvantage to do both.
Yeah. I got some advice when I was in high school from a football coach. He said you can be a jack of all trades and an ace of none if you don't concentrate on something. Either play one sport and be really good at it, or try to play them all and kind of be middle of the pack. But yeah, I mean, I see where that's going, and I think just off the top of my head, I'm assuming I don't know much of the pistol, but most of the other bigger matches, you don't see a lot of the match directors competing.
Yeah, I don't see a lot of them.
Yeah.
Not even a pistol, especially if you're talking about like a nationals or something like that. The I know one of them who does IDPA nationals, and I was like, he was assistant match director, and I was like, man, you drove all the way from Florida to, I think it was in Tulsa that year, and you didn't shoot the match. He's like, dude, I couldn't. He's like, I just had so much things going on. I was running over here, running over there, that I just didn't have no. I just couldn't if I wanted to. So,
Mm-hmm.
so
I
haven't seen it.
And I'll say this, and I'm only speaking about what I know from how we do our regionals. But I will tell you, our crew by match day, I mean, we're exhausted. For most of the time, we're usually on the ground, a week before, and the setups are, get to be kind of intensive. So, having to go in and shoot a match with any proficiency, I mean, you're exhausted.
Yeah, indeed.
I blame that on beating Heath at the shotgun speed challenge at the regional in South Carolina. By the time he got to shoot it, after helping set up matches and RO and everything and running his RO match, shooting the RO match, he was like, I can't. He's like, he was throwing shells trying to load. He was like, too mentally exhausted at that point to compete in it. So.
Yep.
All right, here, but some new topic. There's new pistol targets that you guys have been toying around with. Is this to make the pistol game of 3-gun more accuracy focused?
So the target actually it's a 3-gun nation multi-purpose target. So it would what the ultimate goal of the target would be is that it would cover single gun disciplines and 3-gun, and it would be a deal where you could use that one target for all those disciplines rather than having individuals. And it does have a bonus for accuracy. The 4-inch circle is a 0.25 taken off your score. So basically, per target, you could have 2.25s off, that your score for each paper target. But it does require, it's a smaller area, so it is accuracy driven.
Right on. And how did it?
The testing stage right now?
I'm sorry.
Or you're just testing these right now, like at VIR?
No, yes, and actually we're sending them out to a couple of different folks to test. The target layout right now may not be the same as what it will be when it's finalized, but it's if you take that target, you ignore the 2 4-inch circles, then you have our standard Club Series target. If you're doing a single discipline and we put those into play, then you've got the ability to shoot a stage, and you're not just shooting for baseline or for par. I mean, you can actually go underneath it. And there's some reasoning behind that. Whereas, hey, if I'm not the most agile or quickest shooter, footwork or whatever it may be, I can still pick up a little bit of time by shooting accurate.
Is this something we're going to see at Nationals?
No. This is not for 3-gun. That target, the bonus is not for 3-gun. It would only be for pistol. We tested 2 hits anywhere on our target in a pistol only match, and it's just not attractive to real pistol shooters. Guys that shoot pistol matches, throwing 2 rounds on an 18 by 18 squares. I mean, there's not much challenge there.
Yeah, they like to shoot targets with it all blacked out except the A box of the head and sick things like that. That's why I shoot 3-gun, because I don't want to have to be accurate.
Right. So just to clear up some of the if there's some misunderstandings, that target with the 4-inch circles have nothing to do with 3-gun. We don't want to slow 3-gun down. We actually want to keep making it faster. For several reasons. One, because that's what competitors like. but two, it would also be a nightmare from a scoring perspective and the match flow perspective. It would really slow it down.
And were these targets tested at VRR this past
Yeah,
couple
we
days?
used them, and I put them out there for a couple different tests. One, just to see how they, just putting them out there and using them in a 3-gun format, how obviously they worked fine. And then the other tests were the number of hits, that were made in the center. There's a big question about the orientation of the second 4-inch circle, and there's reasoning behind it not being center of at 12 o'clock, if you will, on the target, for just for vertical stringing of shots. I think we just talked about the A box on a IPSC target in the head. No one aims at that. That's about the size of a matchbook. So you couldn't use that as a I think when people get that A zone, it's they get lucky.
Yeah, and how does that come in practice score? Is there any hassle with that, or not really? Because you're only taking away a couple seconds, right? If you get accuracy focused on there.
No, I actually posted a picture on Facebook today. Russ and Ken at Practice Score are awesome, and they've already built a template, or they're just about finished building a template. So it'll be just like USPSA. Every target will be entered in there, and you'll just be, it'll be up or down is basically how the scoring will be.
Right on. All right, I think Nikki's going to take over real quick for the questions. But the ladies thing, I know you guys had.
So Anthony needs to step away for a second because me and Jen got to talk to Charles about this ladies thing.
Yeah, go ahead, hit that stuff.
What happened to the ladies pro series?
Well, I mean, we have a ladies participating in the pro series. Like I said before, I'm not the pro series director, but basically the support for that series as its own individual just wasn't present. And it was decided to run it in this format, and we had some ladies that participated in it, and I was quite impressed with their performance, and I mean one of them almost won it.
Now, did you have ladies back out once they found out that there was no ladies specific pro series?
I do believe that some did. I'm not for sure. Like I said, I'm not totally involved as far as the design on that with them, but it certainly isn't because we don't want to support women in the sport. I mean, that's just not true.
Well, I didn't think that at all, but I knew my personal opinion. I don't know anything. But I assumed that it had to do with the support and the sponsoring and everything. Mm-hmm. You could tell that there was a difference in prize money won between the two divisions. And mm-hmm. I mean, that all comes down to sponsoring. If you can't get somebody to put forth the money for women's specific category, you could do it, but they wouldn't win anything.
Yeah, it is interesting when you bring this up because we've done all women's prize tables at regionals, and it's funny in the feedbacks. We do our feedbacks to everyone. We've had several comments where women were like, "I didn't like the women's prize table. I don't feel like it needs to be separate." And this is them speaking, and I'm kind of thinking to myself, "Wow, that's kind of interesting." I do understand what the concept is. It makes sense when you think about it, but some people they almost project it as if they were insulted. If there wants to be equality, then don't break it down to. So it was kind of interesting.
it's kind of like breaking up the pro-ams, where if you sign up on the pro side, you walk where you finished, and on the am side, it's random draw. And I personally hate random draw because I didn't work my tail off to get randomly drawn last if I finished higher than that. So say
Right.
I would assume a all women's table, you didn't work your tail off to finish up there with the men to walk a smaller table where maybe the prizes aren't as many. There's more of one type of prize on the men's table had they walked that versus had they walked a separate female table or something like that.
Well, and the other thing that's come to us is, why isn't there an all seniors? Why isn't there, all these different categories to break it down? And then it just becomes a big convoluted mess at some point in time. But back to the original question, it was never put there to exclude women. I mean, obviously we want that demographic to grow, and they're a vital part of it. I mean, I was excited when I was watching. I was there in Candace Horner. I mean, it was just, and I've seen Candace shoot a lot, and she was in the zone. I mean, concentrated and happy and smiling, and she went to the final. She had a chance to get into the shoot off. So I mean, it shows that people can, that to me is valuable because she stuck in there with those folks. So.
And there are girls that are finishing in the regionals top 10. I mean, Lena is always, but like Ashley Roark lately. I mean, that girl is finishing up there with everybody else, regionals, everything. So, I mean, there are women, there are girls that can do it. And Ashley, I think she still qualifies as a junior this year. I think next year she's considered an adult, or maybe last year was her last junior year. But I mean, there you go, female junior up there, top 10.
Oh yeah, she's
Best
phenomenal.
pros.
She's a phenomenal competitor. I remember the first match that I saw her shoot at, and she's always been real strong in pistol, but she is just really concentrated on it and phenomenal. And yeah, like you said, I mean, she's running around the top 10 overall, or in practical, whatever division she is, usually the high lady, junior, and then like this past weekend, Nikki Woodall, I mean, she shot phenomenal. I think she was, in the top 10 overall, and so yeah. I mean, I think that there are some really good female shooters out there that that folks need to watch out for. I mean, they're up and coming.
I think a lot of it also was love Lena to death, but she's won every ladies pro series that we ever had, 3 Nation ever had. Ashley got close last year, but it's tough when the caliber of women, unlike men, where you can see, marginal differences as you go down the line from your top to your bottom. I feel like personally, with the women, you have a huge chunk up here and you have a huge chunk down here, and there's not really there's no marginal differences where you can see with men when they line up on a scale of, your top down to your bottom. I feel like there's a large group of really good and a large group of we're almost there. And there's no real in between competitively for women. Now that's just me, but I've noticed that a lot.
Right.
So, moving on. Jen, anything with the ladies series you have questions about, where it went, anything like that?
I mean, I hate it went away. I don't care, like regionals and all, I don't care about having a separate prize table or whatever. I'm really just there to have fun, and I think most of those ladies are. I think it's a bummer that the ladies that are pro and really do devote a ton of time. I mean, most of those girls, other than like Ashley Ruark, who is kind of a phenom, I mean, most of them, you put them head to head, they're not going to beat the top male. So I feel like it is, I don't know. The chances of them beating are just different. Men are slightly different. They're usually faster, just like women golfers don't play against male golfers. They have a separate, so that's just my opinion. I hate that it went away. I don't like it. I feel like it discourages, I think it's discouraging to women that feel like they can't beat it all and get the final prize now. So I think a lot of people, I think some people did drop out for that reason. And I hated to see that.
I can
But I
see
understand
it
why.
Yeah, I can see it both ways, but I've walked prize tables, like women's prize tables, where it was, I'd have been better off coming in the bottom of the men's and getting a better prize than coming in top 5 at the women's. And it's not the match's fault if the sponsors don't want, only want to dedicate these prizes for the women. The top women got great prizes, but if you were that middle of the pack women, by the time you got to walk the women's table, you'd have got a better prize walking the men's at the bottom. So but like you mentioned,
I agree. Like,
doesn't matter. But if that's what you're working your tail off for, is that prize table, and you get up there and it's like, yay, a purple handguard.
I've also seen the top lady be like 20th. I mean, even Lena, who is an excellent shooter, be 20th because there's 19 guys faster than her. So by the time you get to 20, I don't know what the solution is. I hate it went away. I kind of enjoyed that there was a ladies pro series, but I understand why it had to, and doesn't mean I like it though.
Well, I think both you make good points. I mean, and that doesn't mean it may not, it could come back. But for this year, I think the way the format came out and the ladies that did compete, I mean, it did show that they could, it wasn't like they were going to leave after the first round. It was, so.
It definitely showed possibilities. I mean, it definitely showed. I mean, with the new format, the way it is now, especially with like the elimination round between like the bottom shooters being like one gun discipline specific. If it's not your discipline that you're really good at, I mean, it could be anybody's game. So I think it gave a lot of advantages to female shooters in that sense as well. So.
Sure.
All right, well, moving on. We're not going to beat a dead horse.
We're sad about it. Talking about it.
Well, to be honest, I was dreading that question. That's why you said, "Oh, I took your question." I'm like, that's okay. I really didn't even want to talk about it too much. It just, it is what it is. So Kurt Gruber, we were talking with him. Was it last week or the week before we had a show with him? I can't remember. It's all running together. But
yeah, I think
he mentioned he wanted us to ask you that all the regional matches this year have moved far East Coast instead of more centralized. And he said, are there any new locations coming in the future? He wanted to see more West Coast or mid-country where everybody has to drive, but it's not like all the way across the country.
I understand. Yeah, I mean, that's always going to be a problem for folks negotiating the travel. Generally, so the things that go into us picking a regional site, obviously, is its ability to handle what goes on, and also too, where the concentration of our competitors are. So we take that into account, and it seems like the Southeast is where the sport is very dominant. We are looking at going to St. Paul next year. That'll be a nice one. Like I said, we've always wanted to try to get something Northeast. We just we're not finding facilities that can host the type of event that we're putting on. Texas is always strong. That that'll probably be a return location for next year. So
ranges apply to try and get a regional, or do y'all go out and, the ones that you know of that maybe could handle it, you approach them? How does that work?
So they have to be a club first. They have to be an active 3 nation club, doing classifiers and all that stuff. I mean, obviously they have to be supporting what we're putting out there. And then, so half and half, we get clubs or ranges that call us often about doing it because it does bring some branding for their facility, and so it's a positive thing for them. So we've had about half and half. The first 2 years we went out and looked for them, and we intentionally went and looked for some of the facilities to try to be stuff that was not being used often or hadn't been used. Copperhead Creek is probably the best example. Rob and I were talking about going out to Texas and wanted to get, most of the time they were doing it at Best of the West. And it's not to say that the facility's bad or that area is bad, but we just wanted to have something new. And we were just scouring YouTube and came across some type of a zombie match, some videos of a zombie match at that facility. And I was like, well, let's give them a call. It sounds like a nice place. And here we are, 3 years later, we've gone there each year. And now I think seems like they're hosting a major event like every 2 months there. So that's good. I mean, they got put on the map. And I think that's actually Kurt's home range. And so that's kind of the process for us is if we could develop a range that will host one of our regionals, and kind of bring that, to that area.
Do you look at number of participants? So you said you used club ranges that are also club series members. Do you look at how many participants they get or how quickly their match fills up? If they ever have a wait list, do you take into consideration those things?
Well, not so much that is that, the best way I can describe it, of course, the season we're in now is politics. If you look at the map, it's either blue or red, and you're trying to look at it from a strategy saying, like in these areas we're selling out. Take, for example, Utah, which is a great facility, good people, nice part of the country. But that match, doesn't get, gets right at 200 competitors, or so we, from a strategy standpoint, we got to figure, where are we going to go where the most people are going to, take advantage of participating in the event. So that has, a lot to do with it, because what I don't think folks, well, I assume they would know. I mean, we don't have the luxury of just doing one match. Our targets don't even get to sleep. They're pulled out every couple of weeks and packed up in a trailer and driven across the country, and to do all that type of stuff, and as your husband, I mean, to fly ROs and put them up. I mean, it's quite a task to manage that, the finances of that. So we kind of have to make some decisions that, keep things reasonable. I mean, we wouldn't want to, pass all some extra expenses on to the competitor, and make the fee higher or stuff like that. So if we can, put these strategically where there's not a lot of those costs in the facilities, I would love to see one in every state if we could ever do that. It's just is the interest and the participation there.
Is that why you've started state championships?
Well, that's good. I'm glad you brought it up because I was going to bring it up. But the state championship concept is actually something that came from a shooter. I'll give him credit for that, and it makes sense. I mean, competitors could compete for several reasons, but the primary one is, how do I finish or where do I stack up? And what we felt, or what this competitor brought to me is, hey, what about doing a state championship match where that's a sanctioned match with 3 Good Nation, and it shows I was 5th or 6th, in the South Carolina state. I mean, that's nice to have in your resume. But also, too, to kind of help our clubs, get our Three Gun Nation clubs have, bigger matches that, maybe brings them in some more revenue so they can do stuff to improve their facilities and things like that. So the state matches aren't there to replace a regional, but they're there to kind of be like that in between. And this year it's a pilot program, so we'll just have to see, what it goes out. I think 2 of the matches have prize tables and 2 of them don't. So we're just, and this is again part of just testing out the theory.
What states are having state matches this trial run?
So we have Utah, South Carolina, North Carolina, and there's
Georgia. I'm shooting Georgia.
Yes,
Did you say
Georgia,
Georgia?
Atlanta 3-gun. Yes. Yep. So those are the 4, and I think, like I said, 2 of them have prize tables. 2 of them will be awards. We just kind of have to see where it goes, but the interest for it seemed to be pretty high.
I think it's a great idea.
I like it too. So that's the state championships, but tell us how, for some people are confused and don't understand everything. So there's the club series, the regionals, and nationals. Mm-hmm. Explain how, and then the pro series is separate, but explain how all that works. Do you have to shoot one to get into the other?
Well, for nationals, it's an invite system, and basically the easiest way for me to explain it to someone is if they were to go to 3gunnation.com, and I'm not trying to be sarcastic, but if you go to 3gunnation.com let me pull it up so I can be accurate. If you go up to the regional tab and you slide over to 3GN Nationals, it spells out all of the tiers and the qualification through that entire document, and it'll tell you, what you have to do and where you have to be to get into nationals or to get an invite to nationals.
Invites started going out. I thought I saw something posted that said invites have started.
Yes. Yeah, so the one tier that we know of and it's finished is the Pro Series. So those invites went out, and I know a couple of clubs have finished their matches for this part of the year. And those invites go out for those clubs, and then you go to the final tier, which is 3Gun Nation competitors, Club Series competitors. But the easiest thing to do is go to that page and just make sure that you kind of read it all, because there's more information down the bottom, not just at the top bullet points.
There y'all go. Go to 3gunnation.com, see if you're going to make it.
I do like that there's the club series. I've always liked that there was the club series that's separate, just for the average Joes that like to go and shoot at their club, but it still kind of stacks them up against everybody else, and I like how y'all have that separated out.
Yeah, I mean, that's the grassroots of it. I mean, to me, I'm a big race NASCAR fan, and the local racetracks are what feeds the sport and the popularity. I mean, I think that, you're lucky because you're in the Atlanta 3-gun area. I mean, their matches are phenomenal, and that's what we want. Is clubs like that are gonna, Clinton House, where Sexton is at. I mean, that's the grassroots of it. That's kind of where it all starts to feed it, and you have a lot, like you said, I guess the average shooter that just wants to go out there and have fun. I mean, that's a big part of it.
There's some really good shooters at Club Series level that don't want to do anything more. They just want to go and shoot. And then we have a guy, it's not 3-gun, but we have a guy at USPSA that I can't remember if he's a master or grandmaster. We're always like, why don't you go shoot this such and such match? He's like, no, I'm good. Sometimes he'll show up and shoot his shield just to shoot a whole match with that, just to make it different. We're all like, why you got to beat me with that? But he's not into the whole, fame or, he doesn't want to wear a jersey. He just wants to go shoot. But it's kind of neat that 3-Gun Nation has made the Club Series where those guys still can, see where they stack against everybody else.
Well, let's face it. This is recreational. For the most part, and for some folks, it's, they're either in the industry or they're trying to make a go at this as a career, and that comes with a whole nother set of stress. So I guess the guy that's just going out to, shoot his 9 holes of golf, no pun intended, but it's recreational, and that's important. But clearly, the Club Series is the grassroots of all this.
I love the Club Series.
All right, Nikki, you gonna do lightning round?
Yes, Charles, let's do the lightning round. Let's back out of these questions for a little bit. So, lightning round, supposed to be quick. It never is. Just going to give you 2 different options. You just pick which one you like or would choose. So, if you were to come back and compete in 3-gun, battle belt or tactical vest?
No vest.
For 3-gun, I find that the battle belt usually wins out.
Really?
Mm-hmm. And then your pistol shooters, they like the vest.
Yeah, because IDPA.
Yeah. If you had to compete in one, MMA or boxing?
Oh, I like boxing.
When you go to a restaurant and you order a sandwich, white or wheat bread?
White.
Not the healthy kind of person, Charles.
This is a psychological test. Go ahead. I'm listening.
Jameson or Jack Daniels?
Jameson. I don't like Jack.
Oh, I know you're going to answer this one correctly. In-N-Out or Five Guys?
Oh, Five Guys. They got the best fries in the world.
God, I wish Anthony was here to hear that. He's
Cool,
all about
man.
the In-N-Out burger, and I'm telling you, Five Guys is where it's at. I knew Charles.
And you get peanuts while you're waiting.
That's what I'm saying. Charles is going to be my friend this episode. In their prime, Bruce Lee and Chuck Norris get into a fight. Who wins?
Jeez, I'd like to see that. I would probably have to say Bruce Lee.
I like that answer too. All right, these next 2 are really important. Well, next 3 are really important on how you answer them, okay?
Okay.
Thin mints or Samoas?
Oh, Thin Mints.
Yes.
I thought I liked you, Charles. Thought I liked you. Third most important question of the night. Oreos or Chips Ahoy?
Oreos.
He got both cookie questions right.
Right, dude.
We can eat cookies together, Charles.
I love Thin Mints. I could eat the whole sleeve.
Me too. God, they're good.
This question, there is only one right answer, but we ask it just in case we find the unicorn that likes to have the wrong answer. Toilet paper roll, flap over the top, flap underneath.
As long as there's toilet paper there. You gotta remember, it's me, my son, and my daughter in the house, so we don't get consumed with. We're just wondering if there's toilet paper.
That's Anthony's answer. Is there's toilet paper just set to the side somewhere? That's all you got to reach over and grab. It doesn't matter where.
It's behind you on the back of the toilet.
Just as long as you don't have to yell out for somebody to bring you some toilet paper or take your socks off, right?
Oh, that's bad. Yeah.
All right, last one. If you could only eat one for the rest of your life, tacos or burritos?
I'm a taco person.
Crunchy tacos or soft tacos?
Crunchy. Chicken.
You're on my good side again with crunchy tacos all day. So,
That's just our little lightning round. Sometimes we get some really interesting questions, and you were actually fast. Sometimes we get the somebody always wants to pick option C.
I like tacos from Moe's with the cilantro rice, whatever they call it. That's good. Good and chicken. It's good stuff.
ooh, I went to Moe's on Monday because I go for Moe's Monday.
Mhm.
Get an ear muff because Heath is on some gluten-free nonsense. So it's like get an ear muff, and then I get to eat all his chips with mine.
Yeah.
Oh my. So moving back to shooting a little bit.
All right.
Shooting sports has really evolved a lot. I mean, I went to a DMR match actually, and was talking to somebody, and he was like, y'all don't even shoot real 3-gun anymore. So everything has evolved. 3-gun has evolved. Shooting sports as a whole has evolved. What do you see for the future? What do you think the future holds for it?
Well, I mean, I think the future looks great, and I think you're right. Their 3-gun has expanded tremendously. Like I said, I was doing this, 18 years ago, and to get 30 people together, to find a facility, to have the resources to put the match on it was an undertaking. But now it seems like there's more matches, people are into it. I mean, the number of people that have, support from the industry has just exploded. Like you said, the different competitions from marksmanship matches to 3-gun to pistol matches, it's just amazing how they've grown. I often wonder why that is. I don't know. Maybe is it a boom with the Second Amendment? I don't know.
I kind of noticed with 3-gun that other disciplines became more popular. So when 3-gun started hitting, the scene more,
Mhm.
USPSA got bigger, IDPA got bigger, all shotgun matches got bigger. It's like it made people realize their weaknesses in other specific shooting disciplines, so they went out and looked for matches that they could help make them better in 3-gun.
Yeah, I mean, I think that makes sense. I mean, the interesting part, and I always tell people when they talk about doing 3-gun, you have to remember it's 3 guns, so it's usually 3 times as much work and 3 times as much range resources that you need, 3 times the staff. I mean, so of any of the competitive shooting sports, it has the most. You have to put so much into it, so it's not really easy to get stuff going together. I've kind of been impressed with how like long range precision matches have evolved, and I don't, why that is. I don't know. I know a lot of folks that shoot 3-gun. Participate in that sport. It makes sense. I mean, you're honing your long range rifle skill. It's kind of like guys that shoot pistol only matches. I mean, I still think that's the determining gun in most 3-gun matches is how strong your pistol is. I think it has a lot to do with it because a pistol's just hard to shoot of any of the guns.
I agree
with that. It's my nemesis. I think social media has really evolved the shooting sports.
I agree.
8 years ago, there was nothing nobody knew about it. I remember the first time somebody told me you should shoot competitively, and I was like, I couldn't do that. I'm not good enough, number one. And I had no clue what it was. And there were a few YouTube videos, but not a lot. And then it just has blown up. And now I know a lot of it's because I have a lot of shooter friends, but a lot of people are seeing videos. People see my videos. I'm assistant nurse manager in a level 1 trauma center ER. Doctors will come through and be like, I saw you on Facebook. I can't believe you do that. They're like totally shocked, and then they're like, so how could I do that? And I think that has really grown it with them being able to see it and it being put out there so much.
No, I think you're exactly. I mean, 100%. I think the social media has caused it to boom because it helps with the access and kind of seeing it. And let's face it, I mean, it's exciting. I mean, it's, with three gun, it's the X Games of shooting sports. I mean, you've got everything. That doesn't mean the others are subordinate, but as far as like stuff that's going on, I mean, what's the next level? A four gun? I mean, it's just so inevitably, I think people are drawn to it for that. It's just I think, like you said, 8 or 10 years ago, you had YouTube. That wasn't like instantaneous. It took a process to get things to YouTube. Now you can live stream stuff, and so I think it draws interest. I think there's other things that have made matches grow. Pete Brown and Chad Adams, are the founders of Three Gun Nation, and they came together basically out of their careers, one in journalism and the other one is a video guy, and they basically were filming all different kinds of shooting and hunting and stuff like that. When they came across a three gun match, they kind of looked at each other and said, "Man, nobody knows about this," and light got shown on it. I think honestly, I think a lot of the involvement of competitive shooting credit goes to Practice Corps. I mean, they have made running matches so much easier. Like I can remember doing, paper registrations and scoring on an Excel spreadsheet, and you got a guy in a room banging in, numbers for 8 hours for a monthly match. That's horrible.
And now the last shot fires, and somebody inevitably turns around to the RO and is like, "All right, quick, sink it. Who won? Who won?" Like even the local matches, they're like, "Come on, go sink it right now. Hurry, run it up to the clubhouse and sink it and tell us who won." It's so instantaneous now.
Yeah, and they have some really. I mean, that thing evolves like daily. I don't know if anyone that isn't using it, but if you are, I mean, Russ and Ken are very open to suggestions. I mean, they've literally done stuff for us, on a phone call, and 30 minutes turned around, like the leaderboard for the Pro Series, which has a bunch of working parts behind it to do the elimination stuff. So, yeah, I mean, that's definitely evolved. The big hurdles I think you run into now regarding three gun is trying to find facilities that can support it. Because let's face it, most traditional ranges, clubs or whatever, were built, with pistol bays, maybe one or two long range bays and things of that nature. So it's tough to find a place. Like let's use Clinton House for example. I mean, there's not a lot. There's a few of those out there, but I mean that place. I mean, we did it. We ran 6 stages of shotgun, and our regular, and our regular 8. And you still could have ran 2 more matches there, just because they have such a large, area. But that doesn't exist everywhere. So
I would say, to find that space, that much space. I mean, Clinton House is literally in the middle of nowhere. There's 2 hotels, one hotel, 2 places to eat. And that's it. Like, it is in Podunk, South Carolina.
Well, but I mean, that's going to be typical of a range. I mean, we certainly couldn't do it in downtown New York City.
I was driving my son to he had to go to governor's school this past week, and it's kind of in the middle of nowhere. And we were driving down this road, that 2-lane road that was going on forever. And he said, "Mom, I feel like you're driving to a range." Because every time we go, it's like out in the middle of nowhere.
We touched on. You said we talked about Facebook and like the going live. Dylan Easley had a question on Facebook. He said, "Is the 2017 Pro Series going to be at VIR next year with live video?"
As far as being at VIR, I think that's what's going to happen. As far as the live video, the reason that we have issues with it this year is you just don't get a good signal all the time. A couple of us have tried different phone types, different carriers, and I think I got it to live stream pretty good the last time I did it. But the downside to it is when you go down this one bottom, I don't think you could get out of there with a satellite phone. It's just the topography of the facility. So I would love to see it live. I mean, it clearly has an audience.
Yeah, do you think the live streams take away some of the views when it actually comes out on the show though?
Yeah, that's always always a concern. But I'm there, during the event. There's so much stuff going on that you can't capture that in the time frame that the television show has. So I think the cool thing about the live stream, it's very, whoever does it, I mean, you're filming this guy over here, you're getting this comment there. So I mean, the post-production guys, when they're putting stuff together, obviously it's much more cleaner. It has more focus. But if we could do it live down there, we would. It's just we can't get a consistent signal.
I don't get the channel, so I can't watch the show.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that y'all do the live streams because I can watch it. In all honesty, the people that are watching the live streams, most of it is all of us shooters. And in all honesty, we would have seen it before the TV show comes out anyway because all the shooters post their shooting videos the next day or the next week. And so, I mean, we would all see the raw video of that, but I would still watch the show if I had the channel, if I had the ability to. I just don't. But it would not discourage me. Seeing the live stream would not discourage me from watching the show if I had the channel.
No, that's a good point, and I think the truth to that is when we were out in Tulsa, and you can look when you're doing the live stream, you can see who's on there. I mean, it'd be 2 o'clock in the morning on like a Thursday night, and there'd be people that I know are on the East Coast, and I'd be like, man, that just says something that they're following this. I mean, because let's face it, I mean, competitors like to watch it. I mean, and if we can get some technical solutions put into place at VIR for those bottom ranges, then we'll do it. But we actually talked about this weekend, but to get a wire ran down there, I think it was like $5,000 or $6,000 to run the what we need to get a signal. That's what we were told.
That's a lot of ammo.
Well, until you get it put on like until you get it on ESPN, keep live streaming it for those of us that don't get the right channels.
Yeah. There you go. I know I kind of jumping in here almost towards the end here, but I know we didn't do Discount Corner, right? So we're going to jump into that.
We have just
hit that
been so busy talking. We forgot all about Discount Corner.
Indeed. So we got
when you let girls do it, we just talk.
There you go. Good. Apparently the dog likes to eat frogs and toads. So if anybody knows about that, they like instantly need to go to the vet. Yeah. So I had to run to the vet real quick and come back. And a story behind that.
That was the fastest vet trip ever.
I know. I was like, did you just like dump the dog at the door and say go inside?
No, I luckily it's close by. I know exactly where it is. I already know the routine, so I was able to come back. I didn't think I was going to be able to come back in time, but apparently I made it. Indeed. All right, to save you guys some money, I can use a discount code right now for a vet bill, but we don't have that a part of the Discount Corner. But we do have a couple. Jen, start us off as usual.
All right, I've got 10% off at Carbon Arms for all your shotgun caddies and multiple other things, but you can get it with the code TSM10 on their website, which is carbonarms.us, and you can get 10% off with Samson Manufacturing to get a good scope mount, handguard, whatever, all things AR-15 on their website, which is samson-mfg.com, and the code for that is also TSM10.
And then I got a couple here from UM Tactical. UM Tactical believes a big sponsor for Three Gun Nation, right? Regional sponsor.
Yeah, they do a great job on the activation piece with their demo. It's really cool. It's like who can stack rounds the closest. It's kind of neat with their stuff.
Right. So we can save you 10% off with UM Tactical with their Rage comp. It's a fully adjustable comp for they have it in 308, 556, 223, and I believe they have one in 9mm that's available. That's TSM 10 saves you 10% off anything at UM Tactical. So they got some apparel over there, they got some optics, and they got the universal pistol mount. So if you don't want to mill your slide out for a red dot, you can just throw one of their mounts on for every one of your pistols, and it works. Taran Tactical Innovations. I think all the top. You see a lot of them out there, and the Benelli M2 from Taran Tactical Innovations is used by all the pros, and it doesn't even on the local scene I see a bunch of them. So it's pretty much a shotgun to have, and I can save you 10% off that shotgun or anything at Taran Tactical Innovations, and that's using TSM 10 for Benelli M2, Glock work, or if you want some base pads and some sights, you can use that 10% off code. All right. Also got Dewey Rod, so I think Dewey Rods has sponsored a couple 3-gun matches this year. Also, DeweyRods.com, TSM 15 saves you 15% off all your Dewey Rod cleaning needs. And then I got shop.tacticalshit.com, so TSM 10 saves you 10% off anything over at tacticalshit.com. All right, Nikki, I know you have a bunch.
I have like 4. If you're building a rifle and you need a new barrel, hit me or Heath up on Facebook or at our Team Clevenger shooting page on Facebook. We'd love to talk to you about barrels. You get you a 15% discount for Criterion barrels. If you want to look great at the range, like I do all the time, because it's a frozen tundra in my house, so I'm rocking my True Spec fleece. Hit up me, Heath, or Team Clevenger shooting on Facebook. We'll save you 20% with True Spec. They came out with these new Ascent shorts for dudes for the summer. They're pretty awesome shorts. I have not tried a pair because they're too big for me, but everybody I've spoken to that wears them, all the dudes, they really like them. They got perfect amount of stretch in them if you got a big butt like Heath does, so they're great for that. I can get you 20% off. Hit me up on Facebook. American Defense Manufacturing for any of more of your rifle needs, handguards, scope mounts, 3-gun 10, number 3 word gun, and the number 10 will save you 10% at American Defense Manufacturing. And if you really liked the pistol face shirts that Heath had on the other day, or the ones you've been seeing around, I think Amy Dillon had one on Facebook, and Diana Muller had one on as well. It's Deadeye Design. You go to deedesign.com and you use Team Clevenger, and it'll save you 10% off on your super awesome shirts. Just remember when you order to order a size up, because the Europeans are a lot smaller than Americans.
Right on. All right, Charles, do you have any discounts that you know of on the fly?
I do not, that I'm aware of.
All right, so no, that'll do it for Discount Corner here. We got the lightning round. I believe we're on number 9, right? To catch it, we're at number 9 question.
8.
Number 8.
All right, so Charles, any upcoming projects, matches, or goals that you have coming up that you want to talk about?
I mean, obviously we've got the Utah, the Western Regional coming up. After that, our next big event would be the Nationals, and then we're doing a final. I'm not sure. I think it's the 19th of November. We're doing a shotgun-only, Freakin' Nation shotgun-only match at Clinton House down in South Carolina, and that'll be hopefully regular as part of our a couple of our single gun events for next year. Having couple shotgun matches. 2-day, type of matches on top of the regionals. Shotgun matches are fun.
Shotgun matches are my favorite, and there was not really a good one this year. I mean, I think there was one or two that I couldn't get to, but I shot the Versamax ones at Atlanta 3-gun.
Yeah, that was a good time. And that range, I love that range for shotgun matches, because it just goes so fast. There's not a lot of travel time between the bays, basically 10 feet. So you can get a lot done in the bays. Shotgun matches don't chew up a lot of real estate unless you're looking for a lot of long slugs.
Shotgun ammo is heavy to carry from stage to stage.
Well, yeah, and when we started this Three Gun Nation speed shoot, I mean, when we were talking about the design and the flavor of it, we were saying, you know what, let's just use all birdshot. For a couple reasons. One, it's less range needed. I mean, you could do that just about anywhere on a range. Because the shot fall of birdshot isn't like significant, and it's less expensive. I mean, let's face it. I mean, what are slugs? $1.25 or $1.50 a piece. So, it kind of makes it fun. Plus, it's a lot easier to manage with just birdshot only. So, as far as new stuff, that's kind of what it is. I mean, we hope to in October have our total calendar dates for next year out. That's our big priority right now, getting all those facilities secured and dates secured. So that's just right around the corner.
Yeah, this year's fun by. So your son shoots and is quite a good shooter. So how has that been with him? At what point did you get him involved in the sport, and has it been something y'all have always done together? How has that been, having that be y'all's thing that you do?
Well, it's funny. I mean, I never really. I mean, I would go practice and we'd go to the range together, but as far as competing, it wasn't really set up like that. I mean, Kyle has been, my right-hand man when it comes to setting up for, I don't know what the child labor laws are, so I may be careful what I say. But no, I think since he was like 12 years old, he would, we were running around North Carolina setting up matches, and he was there for that, and he was never really like, hardcore desire to get involved in it. And I just one day I packed up the gun and said, "Hey man, you're shooting," and he's like, kind of had this look on his face, and I give him the credit because if anyone that knows me, I don't cut him any slack. As far as when it competes, I like to go, obviously, like any parent you want to watch. I usually do it from afar because I feel like sometimes if I'm right there, I end up jinxing him, and it's good. But I was really excited to see when he shot up at BR in the Pro Series. I mean, it was a tough from a mental perspective. That part of the game is something that we all need to work on. But he's kind of run with it on his own. He certainly obviously has an opportunity to shoot a lot just because of what I do. But yeah, I think it's great, and I'm proud of what he's done.
That's awesome.
Good stuff. Are we good on the live?
Yeah, we don't have anything else left.
All right, I think we can kind of wrap this one up then. If Nikki, if you're clear on your end.
I could talk all night, but I'm good on my end.
If you got one more you want to throw out there on the top of your head, you got time.
I mean, I was just thinking about how well Kyle's been doing lately. I mean, no offense to Kyle, but he wasn't even a blip on the radar, and then out of nowhere, he's like top 10 Pro Series. Like, he showed up, and he really proved himself. And I know, I mean, you probably never heard any of it, but I know there were people that were like, oh, it's because it's Charles' kid, and he's always at the matches. He gets to be around it all the time. I was like, y'all know he works when he's around those matches, right? Like, he's not just there practicing. Like, he's setting up and he's hauling stuff. Like, he's doing other things. I just get upset when people want to try to damper what he's accomplished because he's at every match. Well, he deserves to be at every match. He earned it. He worked hard for it. So I think Kyle has done phenomenal. I love watching him shoot.
No, I mean, and like you said, I mean, to clear up the perception, I would invite any shooter that wants to shoot a regional to come and take his place the 3 or 4 days before, and then see if they're even worth could want to compete. I mean, because they're 12-hour days out on a range lugging steel and this, that, and the other. So I don't think it has any advantage for him. I mean, plus I don't set up the Carolina 3-gun or the other matches that he goes to, Sexton's match, and he does well there. So, I mean, it's unfortunate that people have that type of conspiracy theory. It kind of takes away from it, but the kid's earned what he's got. I don't take total credit for it. I obviously support him.
People are actually seeing this. Did you hear that? I mean,
Look,
because
I am not stirring the drama pot live.
who cares? If the dude can be at every match, then, or whether he's working it or not, what is it? I don't get it.
I think it comes with, when a range director, a range master, or match director shoots a match, and there's always going to be talk that people, hey, it's a more of an advantage because he set it up. Well, now you have the master match director shooting, and he's doing well. I mean, people are going to look for excuses. The same reason they troll on Facebook.
Yeah, I mean, I no, to answer your question, I've heard it, and like I said, I'll be glad to welcome anyone that feels like that he has some unfair advantage to walk in his shoes 4 days before a match and deal with that what's involved. I'm assuming you guys have seen what goes on. I mean, that stuff just doesn't pop up out of there.
And you said yourself, you don't cut him any slack. I mean, Heath is out there too. Kyle's out there before Heath is. Heath comes home tired and like, man, I can't believe I got to shoot 4 hours and do all that. And Kyle adds the travel and all of it too. He goes to all these different places. He's complaining about upstate. Way.
Yeah, like I said, I don't set up those upstate or Carolina 3-gun, and he seems to be finishing well in those too. So I just think it's unfortunate that stuff goes on in our sport. The sewing circle is what I like to call it. So hopefully, folks can understand that. But like I said, they're welcome to come out and work for 4 days and then shoot the regional and see if that's a big advantage.
Yeah, I know I couldn't do it. I can work the match all day and then shoot at a super high like that.
I taught that competitive shooting class on Saturday, and we were up there 10 hours between doing classroom time and then out there on the range trying to get people through. We set up stages and had them do it twice, had them do it and talk to each individual one and did it again. And then I shot a match on Sunday, and it was just our local rifle match, 4 little stages. It's usually only 4 hours, and I was like a limp rag dragging. I was so tired on Sunday and dehydrated from Saturday. So y'all can have it. More power to you. Much respect.
Yeah. Was that this weekend?
This past weekend.
Oh my gosh, the temperature was ridiculous. It
was, yeah. Like literally after the rifle match, I was helping the ROs pick up brass because they have to pick up brass. So they said, no, we don't have to tear down, but if you can help get brass, so I'm helping do brass, and I'm, squatting, and I stood up and I was like, oh, everything got white, and I'm dizzy. I'm done. Sitting down now.
Yeah, the temperature is beautiful at the beach. I hate y'all missed it out there shooting and stuff. Oh, gosh, it's terrible.
Thanks, Vicky. Don't make it.
Where would you guys want to see a 3-gun match or a 3-gun nation match? I'm curious.
Clinton all day.
I
was about to say, I'm happy with where they are. I have Atlanta 3-gun and Clinton House that I'm right in between, 2 hours to either one. So I'm happy.
VIR is even 3 hours, if 3.5 hours from where I live. So asking us might not be the best people because we're.
I know I was talking to some shooters. I know some shooters wanted it more like spread out. I know there's a lot of matches going on the East Coast, so maybe some wanted it a little bit more spread out. I know that's kind of being picky and choosy with things, but the only one that I know in Florida that gets any major 3-gun matches is Universal Shooting Academy down here. But other than that,
I would love to see one at Altair. Is that what it's
Yeah.
called in Florida?
Where's
Yeah.
that?
It's in Altair Gun Club. It's over in like Naples.
Oh, wow.
They possibly have a tower.
Yeah, they have a tower, and they have 2 miles out. I think you can shoot.
Oh,
And
wow.
the only thing is that they don't have. I know they can. I know they can host it. I already talked to them about it a couple of times, and I know they can host a major three-gun match there. There's some lack of bays, so it won't be like a bay three-gun match, but it can be definitely a long. It'll have some mid to long range. There'll be a lot of that in there. There's a lot of field.
And there's places to stay on site, which I know is cheaper for ROs when you need to house ROs places and stuff. So.
Yeah, you can have a hotel on the range pretty much. Food, because it's in the middle of the sticks. Like Everglades, gators are like right there. I mean, there's
What is it
deer out
called?
there. Altair Training Solutions or Altair Gun Club.
I just
cool.
had them on a show a couple months back, and they were talking about their facility, and I was like, I really want to go to that facility, and a Three Gun Nation event there would get me down there. So
Yeah, I really liked going to Universal. I mean, Frank and Shannon, they were awesome. I mean,
Yeah,
great
it's
to
good.
work with. I mean, good facility. You know, the thing for us with our regionals is we try to pick facilities that offer, that each facility is different, kind of like a NASCAR race. The tracks are different. One's a short track, one's a super speedway, one's a road course. So, when picking the ranges, we kind of look at that, and then, but yeah, Frank's place was nice, and we'll be back. I believe it's a February match again, so we'll be back down there.
Yeah, right on. And I know for ranges, I don't know if you can get any further south, like Miami. There's one in Homestead called Homestead Training Center. I'm sure they'll be open to that. But I don't even think they're a Three Gun Nation like affiliated club right now. So they haven't even started three gun. But I know the range is capable of it. So.
Yeah, I'm my goal, like I said. I mean, we're trying to get out to St. Paul area. Midwest would be nice. Maybe something. Yeah, I don't know, St. Louis area or something. I mean, something. Try to go somewhere that one or two places that we hadn't been before.
Indeed. All right. Well, there you go. I think we're pretty much good to wrap this one up.
All right.
I got an echo coming on my end, but Jen, we'll start off with you with shout outs. What do you have?
All right, I'm going to shout out to Lansing Tactical for my new awesome rifle. I got to finally shoot it fast at this match this past weekend. And I'm going to be quick because I have like a horrible echo and I can't think with myself echoing back at me. Is it bad on y'all's end? Yeah, you can hardly understand me.
I tried to cut my microphone off to help with it, but yeah, I don't know where it's coming from.
Okay, so Shooters of Augusta, Sharpshooters of Augusta, Load Up Ammunition, Taran Tactical Innovations, Grizzly Targets. It is a little bit better now. I'm trying to think of who else now that I can't think from this echo. Vortex, Blade Tech, Carbon Arms, and Lucas Oil. All awesome supporters of the sport. A lot of them, I think, support Three Gun Nation and help out there and support local matches, and I appreciate them all doing that.
Nikki, I guess you're up.
Yeah, I'll try to be quick, but I love to talk. So I'm gonna shout out Criterion Barrels, American Defense Manufacturing, Eagle Imports. If y'all saw my post today on Team Clevenger, we just got 4 new guns in one day. So stay posted to see what was in those boxes. Shout out Eagle Imports for getting those out to us. Pure Gold Shotgun Chokes, the official choke of Three Gun Nation. Stage 0 shooting supplies. So if you're interested in getting one of those SPS Panteras 9mm, hit up Donnie Flo with Stage 0 shooting supply. He can hook you up with one of them. The Outdoor Shop, shop local. My local shop is the Outdoor Shop. If you don't have a local shop, you can definitely check out mine at theoutdoorshop.rocks. Also got to shout out True Spec for always making me look great on the range, putting a little extra stretch in their pants for our bigger guys out there competing. I know they appreciate it. And I'm going to shout out Safariland. I also want to shout out, if y'all paid attention last episode, we talked to Zero Tolerance Knives. You found out that I knew nothing about knives, and I broke one of Heath's pens, which he did watch this show and see that I lost his spring. But Susan from Zero Tolerance hooked me up with some new springs for the pen and sent me this awesome new knife just for me that Heath can't steal. So I have to shout out Zero Tolerance for that. Thank you for supporting Three Gun Nation, for supporting shooting sports, even though you make knives. And it's not really has anything to do with shooting, but I dig it. So be on the lookout for some posts from me explaining how awesome this knife is, because I've only had it a couple hours now, and I haven't cut myself yet, so doing pretty good.
Right on, Charles. Do you have any shout-outs?
Yeah, I mean, you guys have mentioned a lot of our sponsors, so I don't want to do it again, but I'd like to shout out to you guys. I mean, without folks like yourself that put these things together, I mean, I think it's a huge contributor to how the sport has grown. I mean, you're educating and you're giving folks information, so I'll shout out to the Shooter's Mindset.
Thanks, man. We appreciate that.
Yeah.
I think shout-outs on my end, without if I don't got the echo going, definitely check out Tactical Shit next time you're shopping around. Subscribe to the channel. Right below the video, you're going to see the subscribe button. Every Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern, we do a new episode of the Shooter's Mindset. Plus, I upload some competition videos and some gear review videos on the channel. If you want to email me, theshootersmindset@gmail.com is a great way to do that. Definitely thanks to Charles Hull for coming on, man, and spending 2 hours with us. We appreciate that. What I got? Gear Nation, local apparel company, man. I got some of his stuff on theshootersmindset.com, but definitely go check out Gear Nation USA Facebook page. And I'm going to wrap it up with Ran CLP for some fine gun oil. Check out Ran CLP. They have a full line of products, grease, CLP, bore and bolt cleaner. Fantastic stuff. All right, that'll do it for episode 145 of the Shooter's Mindset. Thank you guys for watching tonight, and we'll see you on the next one.
Thanks.